All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special stream. I'm here with Torey Haas. He is an independent director, done a good amount of indie films by now. So yeah, just introduce yourself, Torey.
Oh yeah, well as Flint said, I'm an independent filmmaker based in Atlanta, Georgia. I've currently on my fourth feature. My first feature was The Neon Dead, which is streaming on Tubi and I think Amazon Prime still.
Heck yeah.
And then also did Dead by Midnight 1 and 2. The second one is widely available. The first one's only available on u42.com. And then currently in post on another feature, which I didn't direct. This time I only wrote it and I'm editing it and I shot it. So yeah, a lot of different things.
Awesome. All right. Well, in general, I've known Torey for a very long time, just in general. So I think he's a fantastic person, a great director, maybe even a fantastic director. From what I've seen, at least, I love working on your set. But why did you choose directing as a career, or writing, or the music, movie industry in general?
Yeah, I guess I can give you the long story.
Go for it.
I've always been, ever since a kid, I was always drawn to just doing something creative. I used to draw a lot. Like I used to draw monsters and everything all through like elementary school. That was like the thing other kids like knew me as. That's how I kind of like, I don't know, that's how I became popular, like in kindergarten and in first grade. Like I distinctly remember in kindergarten, I drew like all these pictures of monsters and I would like sell them to my classmates for like a nickel.
Oh, I never knew that. That's awesome. Did Brian ever know this?
I don't think I ever told Brian that. No, because something very similar Brian would do.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a really good friend of both of us. And then, as I got older, I thought I wanted to be a paleontologist because, like, I always liked dinosaurs a lot, as every kid usually does. But then, like, I think I was at the next level into dinosaurs. Like, this is what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to be a paleontologist. But what happened was my parents took me to see Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
When it first came out, and I love the movie, but like that week we went to like the grocery store and I got this like making of magazine about how how Jurassic Park was made.
Yeah.
And I remember it had this one page that showed like the Velociraptor like animatronic, like the latex skin was peeled back and you saw all the wires, and like I just thought it was like the coolest thing. And then from then on I was like, I know I want to make special effects, I want to do monsters, like this is what I want to do. The idea was like, I was thinking like, well, if I'm a paleontologist, like it's still cool, but I'll just be like digging up bones in the desert. That's cool. But if I make movies, like I can be on set with dinosaurs, animatronics and all these other cool things. So
yeah,
that kind of drew me more. But then at some point I realized the director is the one who tells the person what kind of creature they want, and I just wanted to be the one in charge. So that's how I gravitated towards directing. And everything, like writing, editing, cinematography, all that came out of directing. I just tried to learn everything to make myself a better director, really.
That's awesome. Let's see. So, in general, how did you get into directing? Like schools and all that?
Yeah, I had to go to school. I don't think film school, like not everyone needs to go to film school, especially today. Like you can really learn everything if you're self-motivated enough and just go on YouTube and watch tutorials. For me though, because like I've always been really introverted, I needed school to kind of like propel me into doing something proactive with film, because I was not the type of person who was going to like draw my friends together and make a movie.
I mean, it's fair.
We've made movies before in high school, but not like on a serious level, where I was really trying to like express myself.
Yeah.
So for that reason, like school was really beneficial to me. And I went to Georgia Tech, which they don't have a film program there. I just always wanted to go to Georgia Tech. But then I went and I got my master's degree at Georgia State.
I actually didn't know that.
Where I did their film program. And,
right.
Yeah.
I knew you got a master's. Was it? What was the master's program for? Like, what did they call the degree?
I don't know what it's called now, because I graduated back in like 2010, which is crazy to me. I think that's more than 10 years ago. at the time, it was a Master of Arts in Communication.
Okay.
But the emphasis was on film and video. Like it was
Yeah.
effectively film school. Like apart from one generic kind of communications class I had to take, well, I had to take two actually, like a research class and like a generic like communications. Apart from that, though, it was all film production, and like all my professors were independent filmmakers, some better than others, but I won't get into that.
Yeah. Did obviously the Atlanta area has like boom, that's where Walking Dead is. Stranger Things I think is also here in Atlanta. But do you recommend like a good school to go to? Do you know if there's like beneficial schools to go to?
I think it really depends on the person and what you want to do. Like the thing is, you got to remember, it's not like you're going to get a law degree or a medical degree or even a business degree. So like my attitude was, I don't want to be in like a tremendous amount of debt. That's honestly why I chose Georgia State, because it was just cheaper than any other film school. My attitude was like, well, as long as they give me equipment and I can meet people who want to do this, like that's what I need to get out of film school. Like, I don't need a degree from some like an LA college or Florida has a really good college.
Right.
I'm not knocking the people who do that because they might be have more success than I do. But for me, like the way I am, I just didn't want to have a ton of debt going out of college.
That's fair.
Especially knowing there's no guarantee of work in the film industry.
Right. That's completely fair. Who inspired you?
Oh man, my three biggest film heroes are Ray Harryhausen, Sam Raimi, and Roger Corman. And Ray Harryhausen, because my favorite movies I used to watch with my grandfather all the time growing up were like the Sinbad movies and Jason and the Argonauts. And something about the stop motion animation, I didn't know what it was at the time because I was like just too little, but like that always just drew me as this really cool, like just look, like it just, there's nothing else like it to me. It just looks so fascinating to me. And Sam Raimi, of course, because I'm a big Evil Dead fan, and just from like a filmmaking perspective, like what he does with cameras and everything and how he engages the audience with his movies is just so cool to me. And his movies are just so much fun, which is I try to make all my movies be fun as well.
Yeah.
And Roger Corman I've always admired from a business sense, just because like he, wish I could say this, but he never lost money on any of his movies he made except for like one. He's made like hundreds of movies and he's in his 90s and he's still making movies now. And he just turned 96 last April.
What's does he have like a certain company name directly? Like genre of stuff?
He's been in all genres. I actually am a big fan of the movies he's directed. If you're like an old school horror movie fan like me and you haven't seen any of his Edgar Allan Poe movies from the 60s, those are great. Like I think those totally hold up today. I think what he's most famous for though is he did the original Little Shop of Horrors. That's what everyone immediately thinks of, and that's a famous story because he shot it in like 2 days for I think like 30,000.
Shot in 2 days? Shop of Horror?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The original one, they shot it like a sitcom with like multiple cameras going. It's a really fascinating story. I think it might have been 2.5 because there was like a night of just like exterior shots. But the industry was different back then because I know I said the budget's 30,000, which like that'd be a big budget to me for sure. But like back then, because you had like film stock you had to buy, everything was just way more expensive. It's not like today with digital cameras where everyone has a camera with them that's of reasonably high quality. Yeah, those are the three that I love all their work and they still inspire me.
That's awesome. Tell us about some of your projects, like Neon Dead or Evil Dead, depending on Evil Dead, Invasion of the Dead. I'm sorry. Or like.
Yeah, the Neon Dead was my first film. We shot it as Invasion of the Undead. When I got it distributed, the distributor wanted to change the title because he thought it sounded too much like a 50s science fiction movie with invasion. And truthfully, I like the Neon Dead better. Like,
I do too.
I'm not good with titles. If I had thought of the Neon Dead, I would have called it that. But it's a horror comedy. It's my favorite quote about it is actually James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd. He he gave me a quote because I worked on his movie and I asked him to watch it.
Ooh.
And he said it was like a cross between Ghostbusters, Evil Dead, and Suspiria. And I was like, well, that's spot on because I love all those movies. Like it has kind of like the humor of Ghostbusters, like monsters and stuff, and like just general tone of the Evil Dead, but then like the lighting of Suspiria.
Oh yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, like that's like a big thing that, with your movies, the production is there. Like we are doing, very, low budget, but the production value is very, very good, and I feel like we get complimented on that, or you do,
I think, well, you do too, for sure.
Yeah.
I think we do a really good job with the budget we have, for sure. The thing is, like movies, the stuff people watch is on such a higher budget level than anything we have ever had. Like, as long as people understand that, then I think they're like, oh wow, you did like a really good job.
Exactly. Like if they go in and think Neon Dead, it was like put on like $1 million or $2 million budget, like their expectations are just not going to be there because you're putting it too high. I feel, like just in general with or with in general indie film. I mean, look at Clerks. Clerks is very, you could tell, an indie film. It's not about the. I mean, it is about the production, but like it's what you have, like how you could take advantage of everything, with that budget. So
yeah, for sure. I think like the super talented people could, maybe make like a $20,000 movie look like several million, but that's not us. But I do think we do very good for what we have, and I'm really proud of the Neon Dead. Like I still
I am
love
too.
the sword fight we did.
Oh yeah,
I think that sword fight holds up. I mean, I'm biased, but I think it.
But I mean, it wasn't fake. I mean, yeah, it's acted, but like they really did train on how to sword fight. So and I liked how you put in the effort to make sure they knew that, like that they could train,
Yeah, well, it's kind of like about knowing what the main points of your movie are, and then like making sure you do those correctly. So
exactly.
For me, because like to me, the Neon Dead is all just a build up to the fight scene at the end. The first part is the sword fight. So like I knew like I got to put effort into that sword fight. So that's why Greg Garrison and Nathan DeRossi, who played the hero and the villain, they trained for months before we did that sword fight. With Alan Sanders, a local, like he did sword fights for plays. I actually met him in film school. This was one advantage of film school because he was on a student film I was shooting, and he mentioned to me that he did sword fights. And I put that in my head. I was like, I'm gonna contact you years later when I get to making this movie, and I did. But yeah, so like they trained and they put the work in, and I think it shows.
Yes.
We definitely did have some reviews. I was glad that actually called out. That's like, and the sword fight actually looks decent.
Heck yeah.
It's not
yeah.
Like cutting away constantly and trying to hide it.
Yeah. I mean, we had like one shot at the beginning that went on. I'm not sure how many seconds, like 30 seconds, maybe less. But we didn't cut away, like you said. Like we try to wrap around, like to do a spin shot. I'm not technical term with it, but
I remember you shot that.
Yes.
Nick had like an operation or something. Nick was our normal Steadicam operator.
Yes.
And he had like an operation and he couldn't do it. So that was you doing the shot.
And I remember, and I'm not like wasn't trained to be obviously best at it, but I was proud of that, like that I was able to do that. So yeah, it's fun little detail inside. So on the projects, on the sets, what was the best moments on any set? Oh, actually, I don't know. We were talking about the Neon Dead. I don't know if you want to talk about the other stuff that you've done too.
Yeah, I should mention it real quick. So Neon Dead was first. Then we did Dead by Midnight, which is an anthology film, which Flint, you worked on.
Yes. Yeah, I did. Creepy Dolls.
Yeah, and that was a fun one because we did get a bit of a budget from a local company here, U42, to put that together. And for that, I directed the wraparound story that ties them all together, and then also the segment Blindside, which is written by my wife, Melissa Haas. And that was a fun project for a lot of reasons because I got to work with like you and Jay and Tony and Anissa, and we all got to make like our own stories.
Yes.
I also got to work with like our first famous. I mean, yeah, they're famous actors because we had
Yeah.
Fearman from VHS, and then
Huh.
Aaron Brown, who was in Masters of Horror back in the 2000s and was a really big like video vixen, in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Maybe 90s. I think early 2000s mainly.
Right.
So that was really cool to get to do that.
Wasn't I could be getting this mixed up, by the way, with the second one, but wasn't she sick? Aaron?
Yeah, she was very sick the day we shot. The thing is, like, because we had a budget but not a lot, so we could only afford her for like one shoot day.
Yeah.
We had to do, it was like a 12-hour day. We had to do everything with her, and she's kind of like this in the movie. She's like a horror host, so you only see her on TVs. They're kind of like an Elvira type character. You only see her on television monitors in the studio where the wraparound takes place. But yeah, she was really, really sick that whole day. And I remember she was like worried about her performance, but like I thought she was great.
Yeah.
I remember like reassuring her, and like I thought she did a great job. Like she's one of my favorite actors to work with for sure. Like I just think she's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And I guess the latest film, I don't even know if you could talk about it because it's in still production.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that too much because it is Tony's movie. It's his production company, and he directed it.
Yeah.
I wrote it though. What it is he wanted to make a movie about his hometown. He wanted to make a supernatural ghost story about his hometown.
Okay.
He sent me like a bunch of stories, like newspaper articles he found, just different anecdotes, like probably hundreds, like almost too many. Every day I would get these like long digest emails from him with like all this stuff. I pieced it to get into a story, and it's about this YouTuber who debunks supernatural phenomena like paranormal activity and stuff like that. And she goes to this town of Greenville, Pennsylvania, where all these strange events are rumored to have occurred, to investigate the disappearance of this little girl. And at the same time, she's investigating the disappearance because this little girl disappeared in like this famous, horror house owned by this doctor who was he killed several of the people he was operating on. He was like a notorious criminal in the town, so it's rumored he haunts this house. The little girl disappeared going inside. So at the same time this YouTuber is investigating this house, there's a local paranormal investigator from the town there investigating it too, and then they kind of clash at the same time that real events start happening that are beyond either of their beliefs and expectations.
That's fun. Sounds fun.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun project to work on. It was fun to go to his hometown and shoot something up there.
Yeah.
He kind of made it out like it was this really strange small town, and like, it was just a nice place. Like, I thought it was kind of charming.
Oh, awesome. I mean, I guess you could say that about certain locations around Atlanta that have blossomed a lot better than in the past. Yeah. So it's funny.
That's true. Yeah, because even where I live in East Atlanta, I don't think it was as nice of a place as it is now, even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Greenville was very different when he was growing up.
All right, so going back to the question, what are the best moments on any of the sets you were on?
Oh man, like it's hard to really narrow that down. I'll just like some that jump out to mind was like working with Erin on Dead by Midnight. It was really cool. Just because like she's famous, and like it was just cool to be like I'm actually talking to her and giving her direction. The Neon Dead, like there were a lot on that. The two I liked the most, the sword fight again was a lot of fun. Also the night we had sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, quick question. This is from Chrome of the Sage. Have you always preferred horror genres, or are you looking to expand the different kinds of stories?
I definitely always prefer like some kind of genre, whether it's horror, sci-fi, or fantasy, like something in that area. I'll probably stick with horror for a while because it's my it's my favorite.
Well, you're most well known for.
Yeah, it is my favorite, but I think I would like to do a science fiction movie someday, or maybe like a fantasy. I don't know if I get the right ideas. Definitely, like I love all kinds of movies. Like one of my favorite directors is Akira Kurosawa. And like, I think that's kind of surprising to although like he's obviously a lot of people love him, but he's like right up there with the three, with Sam Raimi and Roger Corman and Torey Haas. I would rank him pretty high too. You cannot see any of his influence in my work, that's for sure.
Sorry, but yeah, going back to the best moments. What were you saying about that?
Oh, on the Neon Dead, the night, I don't know if you were there, but the night we filmed the Girl Scout scene, that was a fun one because what it is
Yes.
is the lead actress Marie Barker, she was teaching acting to kids,
Huh?
like an after school kind of thing. And so we had a kid a role in the movie, a role for a child actor, and I asked her if there are any of her students that she would recommend. So we did auditions with them, and we cast one of them as Josie, and she was great.
Yeah, she
But
was.
then, like, I liked the others, and it just seemed really cool. It's like, hey, let's give everyone who auditioned a role in the movie. So we brought them all in to play these Girl Scouts in one scene, and that was a fun scene just because the kids were so excited. And
Yeah.
we were at my parents' house, like at night, and it was like early summer, so fireflies were out, and they were like, running around catching the fireflies, and it was just a really positive experience. So that always stands out to me as a really good moment.
Yeah.
More recently, I think I can say this. I'm just going to say because I know it's on the Indiegogo for Tony's movie, but we got to go to LA and shoot a scene with Eric Roberts for the newest movie, Spooked.
Okay.
And that was pretty cool just because I didn't know what to expect because Eric Roberts is the biggest actor, we've worked with. I think he's above he's definitely above like a Kane Hodder or Bill Moseley in terms of personality.
Yeah.
Not saying anything about talent. They're all great people to work with. I love working with all of them. But Eric Roberts was super nice. Like he was almost like too nice. And it was cool just to like see him when he showed up, have like a script that I wrote highlighted with notes on it. Like that was a really cool moment. And
that's
also
awesome.
Just going back to some of the names I just mentioned, like the day we shot with Kane Hodder.
Oh god, it was so cool.
That was a lot of fun. For
sure. I was on the set for that.
That was crazy too because we're both Friday the 13th fans, and to just look over and see Jason. He's like talking to us about things like that. That was crazy.
Yeah, that really was. I sat like right next to him and talked to him for at least like 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it is neat just sometimes like just seeing like someone who's been very successful in the industry, I guess you could say, and them just be real people, like just nice guys. They're not like jerks or anything. That you like hear about some actors. I feel like in the industry are harder to work with. They weren't, well, at least I can see, So
no, we've been fortunate. All the names we've worked with have been really nice people. Because Bill Moseley, he did a voice of Jasper the cat in my Dead by Midnight 2 segment, and I only talked to him over the phone and gave him direction that way. But he was incredibly nice, and I'd love to do a project with him on set sometime.
Yeah. What were some of the hardest moments? Or I guess you could even say worst moments on a set or project, part of the project.
I'll go with there are definitely some like trying times. Some shoot days are definitely pretty long. Like the one I think that everyone who worked on the Neon Dead goes to is the time we shot at night.
Yes, actually, Dylan brought this up.
Yeah, I apologize to everyone for that still because I actually don't. I did that.
I mean, like there's food poisoning. I know, like people were dropping like flies.
Yeah, because I just liked TGI Fridays growing up, because we shot the Neon Dead at my parents' house. We used to, because in high school we used to go to Fridays. They have like good burgers. They would cook them.
Yeah.
My palate's I guess advanced since then, but Neon Dead, I thought they were a lot of fun. TGI Fridays, so I took everyone there for dinner. A bunch of people got food poisoning. I don't know. It's like because I was directing, I don't really like remember it the same way. It didn't even really seem like that long of a day to me, just because that whole movie, like, I was just like so in it because it was my movie and I was responsible for everything. Like I didn't have time to really think about being tired or anything like you do on other sets when you're not in charge of these things.
Yeah. I mean, I was a side person too, and I'll be honest, I didn't think it was as bad as other people remember. I was like, oh, it's just I guess I've worked at retail that just goes on forever. So like, yeah, I may have had similar mindset as you, which is interesting.
Well, I think the advantage, because like the people who were still up were like you, me, Jay was still up.
Yeah.
I think Kevin.
Dylan had to be up because he was ahead.
Actors had to be, but I think they were kind of in and out of it.
That's true.
And Lori too, she was up, and Quinn. I don't know too much about Lori, but everyone else in that group, I can say like we're kind of people like we used to stay up late and play video games all night
Yep.
and everything.
Yep.
Like I don't know, it didn't seem like that. There were like so many times like in high school and even in college where I just like be playing a game and you hear the birds chirping and it's like, oh, I guess I should go to bed for a couple hours. So I think we had that advantage that night.
That's awesome. Okay. Chroma State says, I recently had a discussion with folks about David Cage, Beyond Two Souls. I guess he was in Beyond Two Souls, and being an amateur. I think that's supposed to be amateur versus director. Wait. Oh, actor versus. Wait, what's that? Chroma? Sorry. It's AUTEUR. Have you ever heard of that term?
An auteur?
Huh?
Auteur.
Auteur, yeah. Okay, maybe
I'm
that's
saying that right. I'm not good with French.
yeah. Versus director. Can you speak to what the roles of director should be taken in one project and the role that they should stay away from?
Okay, just making sure. So what a director should do, basically, what they should have their hands in versus what they shouldn't.
Yeah. I guess what projects they should basically dive into versus a project that's a waste of time, maybe even.
Oh, if you're gonna go like that, I mean that's up to the director. Like I don't know. I mean it depends. Like what you should only do what you want to do. Like directing's a really hard, time-consuming thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll say, like I've had my best experiences directing when it's been a script I've written versus a script that someone else has written. Just because like I was more into it, the process, like I understood where it was coming from. Whereas when I was directing someone else's script, it felt, I don't want to say like a job, but definitely more in that direction. It was definitely like less passion in it because I was trying to interpret, someone else's thoughts into what I do.
Yeah.
Does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, they clarified the auteur usually means a director that controls all aspects, like
Yeah.
Hideo Miyazaki, which honestly, as an indie director, you kind of do that.
Yeah, a lot of indie directors are auteurs. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, and I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like you would prefer that versus maybe an industry.
But yeah, I definitely would prefer to be in charge of as much of the creative aspects as possible.
Which I think is fair.
That's why, I mean, if you want to do this, like that's why you want to get into it. I think most directors, like, they want to do it because they want to tell their stories and express their vision. They want to get that out there. Like I don't know if there's that many directors who want to just collect the paycheck and like directing traffic is what they call it. Like you're a director, but you're not really the creative force behind the project. You're just kind of making sure it all happens on set.
Yeah.
TV shows go. That's why, because like the showrunners are more the auteurs for television.
That is true.
I think this is like a general. I'm sure there's exceptions. So, but yeah, the showrunners are more like the creative force, where the directors they bring in are just kind of like there on set to just make sure the movie gets done.
Yeah. I mean, if you were on like I guess bring up that subject, a series director, would you want to be a showrunner versus, or would you be honored to be part of the directing team at least for a season?
I mean, yeah, I would. It'd be fun. I would definitely do it if I was given that opportunity.
Yeah.
I still would always want to like that in itself is not creatively fulfilling to me. Like I would still want to make my own movies. Like, cause we were talking offline before that. Cause like one of the projects I'm working on now for like my day job is a show called The Jolliest Elf, a children's show that's all 3D animated.
Yes.
Like that's cool. Like I really enjoy working on it. I'm proud of it. But it's not like I still got to make my own stuff on top of that. Like it's not a thing I can like go to bed at night and like, yeah, I did The Jolliest Elf. I had a good day. Like I have to be making my own things too.
Oh, I think it's fair.
Even though it is really cool.
I think that was like one of the best things about the Neon Dead was seeing you bring to life this vision that I think you've had this vision for not when you like made the script, but like a lot longer than that, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote the script back because I used to work at Ingles Groceries, and the main character in the movie, Desmond, he works in a grocery store in the video department. And that's because I worked in a video department
Mhm.
at a grocery store, like back when that was a thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's like I wrote it back then.
So, I think that's
It's
it's
something I
fun.
wanted to tell for years.
Right, right. All right. Now we're on to the quick questionnaires. I'm going to fire out 20 questions. Name basically what's on the top of your head. It goes from easiest to more complex. All right.
These are like trivia questions? Like what?
You'll find out in just a sec. All right. Here we go. Favorite color?
Blue.
Oh, blue. Okay. Favorite food?
Salmon.
Wait, what? You say salmon? Okay. Favorite candy?
I don't really eat candy. If I had to choose, Zero Bar was my favorite candy bar.
Right.
But I don't eat candy anymore. I'm getting old. I can't. I gotta be healthy.
That's a good answer. Favorite music?
I like punk and ska.
All right.
Two genres of music.
Favorite game?
Ooh, favorite game. Oh man, I gotta answer Fat Castlevania.
Oh, hell yeah. Favorite movie?
I can go into detail about that though.
Favorite movie?
Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Favorite show?
Oh man, why I can't think of it. Favorite show is Hercules: Legendary Journeys, but it's tied with like Married with Children and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, nice.
So it's a three-way tie. I really gotta go with all three of those.
Okay, that's
Only
fair.
one of those that's probably actually good is Buffy. Like you should watch that if you haven't. But I don't. Others just have like, well, Married with Children's really funny, but Hercules I just have a really big soft spot for because I grew up watching it.
Oh, that's awesome. Favorite actor or actress?
Favorite actors: Bruce Campbell, Peter Cushing, and Christopher Lee. Another three-way tie.
Ooh, nice. Favorite historical figure?
I mean, George Washington popped ahead. I think it's just because it's the first historical figure I thought of. I probably have a better one than that, but I'll just go with George Washington. I can't. That's something I think about a lot. Is a historical figure.
Oh, no. Chicken or beef?
Chicken.
All right. Mountain or ocean?
What?
Mountains or ocean?
Mountains or ocean?
Mountains.
Mountains or ocean?
Yeah.
Mountains.
Okay.
I know how to swim, so mountains.
Samurai or ninja?
Samurai, because I like them both a lot. They're both pretty cool, but
Yes.
I like all those Kurosawa movies. All samurai.
Hell yeah. Donuts or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Dinosaurs or aliens?
Or dinosaurs.
Of course.
I don't think I could say aliens after my opening story.
Boobs or butts?
Boobs.
Why is this? Why is the sky blue?
Because it's something with the wavelength of light. I used to know that. What did Dylan say to that? Did you get that question?
Yes, you'll find out later. Why is candy so good?
It's not. Don't eat candy. I get candy on Halloween, and I just eat it because it's a Halloween thing. But I really don't like the taste of it. It doesn't. I don't like it anymore.
Why are people human? I'm a fox, so I need to know this.
Why are people human? I have no choice. They're made that way. You're born that way.
Why are we so tiny but so big?
Why are we so tiny but so big? We think too much. We ask too many pointless questions.
And the last one, why are you amazing?
Because you think I am. That's how I think about myself. So.
All right. Chroma made some comments. I expected more from I expected more of a struggle on favorite movies. But yeah, I mean he's been a huge Jurassic Park fan pretty much his whole life. I think that's like a majority of us and what we were inspired by in a lot of ways.
That's kind of the reason I say it's my favorite movie, because there's a lot of movies I love. Obviously, like the others that would be like a contender are Army of Darkness, Phenomena, and King Kong. I really like the original. Heavy Metal, the animated movie.
Oh yeah.
Those are all movies I just really love. But Jurassic Park, because it's basically the reason I do what I do now. That's why I go with that one.
That's fair. And Chroma said, when you get to the pearly gates, What do you hope God says to you?
Come on in. That's what I hope.
All right. So that is it with the quick questionnaire. We're going to jump right back into regular questions.
Okay.
Is there someone you look up to?
Like someone in my immediate, like someone I personally know, or
Yeah. Well, it could be. Oh, actually, no. It could be like a director or actor, I guess. Theoretically, like this is along the lines of inspiration, I guess. But like this is more like of a personal thing.
Oh, okay. I mean, I do look up to my dad. I
Okay.
think a lot of people would go with that, but especially as I'm getting older now and I see like what he was able to accomplish and what he did, also like his attitude towards life and everything. Like I definitely look up to him.
That's awesome. Let's see. If you could work with
Sorry, I don't
any.
know if this reads that I'm like shivering. I'm in like a bonus room and it's really cold.
Oh no, it does not. I didn't notice
Okay,
it. If you could work with any director slash actor, I'm sorry, yeah, director slash actor. More so acting, just because we're directors who direct actors. Who would it be?
I would choose, and I hope this isn't controversial because I know his political views are probably not what a lot of people agree with, but I would choose Kevin Sorbo just because, like, childhood watching Hercules. Like, if I were directing Hercules and something,
Ooh,
just
yeah.
couldn't. That'd be amazing. That or like again, like Ed O'Neill, from Married with Children.
Oh,
Like anyone I watched in the show growing up in my formative years, if I could direct them, like I think my mind would be blown.
yeah, no, I am very similar in that, like directing Hugh Laurie from House. So yes, I completely understand that it'd almost be like weird. You're like, oh, I'm directing them.
Like imagine talking this person, or like if it were like Bruce Campbell would be another one. Like I couldn't imagine like, hey, Bruce, go back to one. Like I don't know what would happen.
All right. If you were to teach someone on to be a director, what would you say? What would it be?
I would say what a director told me when I was a kid. My dad took me. They're shooting a movie on the street from my house. It was the movie Fluke about the dog with like Eric Stoltz and Matthew Modine.
Uh-huh.
It was right when I was getting into movies, and my dad like walked me over to the set and he started talking to people and he told everyone like, oh, my son really wants to make movies and everything. So I started meeting like all these people there, including the director. And the director, Carlo Carle, I asked him, is it hard to be a director? And he said, no, you just have to have an answer for everybody's question.
That's true.
So I would take that, I would modify it and say, is it hard to be a director? I would say, yes, you have to have an answer for everybody's question. That's what I would say.
I like that.
And just be nice to people, just treat people. That goes throughout life. Like treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
Like, if everyone did that, the world would have no problems. It's like a simple fix to everything, but
I wholeheartedly agree with that. All right, this is more on like life questions, but what do you like in life?
I love my wife, Melissa Haas, upcoming actress or already coming actress. I'm happily married. A cat right here.
Hello, cat.
Yeah, you probably can't even tell that's a cat, but yeah, she's pretty great.
Can't you tell I'm a fox?
If she were awake, she's completely zonked out though. I'm just grateful for the friends I have too, like yourself, and I'm grateful I have a circle of friends that like I've grown up with for so long, and that we can work together and make stuff. I think that's really cool. Not a lot of people can say that.
Aw, yes. Queen Zelia says, such a cute cat. All right. Next question. What silly things make you happy?
What silly things? Dumb jokes. The corny, cheesy jokes make me laugh. One of the things I was doing for the Jolliest Elf this week is they were putting stuff for social media, and I was like editing these like Thanksgiving jokes told by one of the animated characters.
Uh-huh.
And like dumb jokes just make me laugh.
Oh, that's good. Okay, something in the past that made you like me.
made me like you.
Yeah. I guess when we first met, or a story about us.
It's not a specific story. I think it's that you're always so positive. I do remember because the first time I got to know you was in like personal fitness in high school. I was like kind of dreading that class because like I was never athletic at all. Um, I think I keep myself fit now, but that's like a new thing in my life. I was not growing up. I was like nervous about that, but just being
Yeah.
around you, you were always so positive. Like you made that class like one of my favorite classes in high
Aw.
school. I did like when you picked up that quarter. Do you remember that?
Yes. I remember the quote.
Yeah.
But
You
wait.
picked up that quarter and you said, "I'd like to thank you and my shoes." I was like, okay.
Yep, that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
All right. So you mainly do horror. Why do you like horror? Why did you choose horror? Why do you like make horror stories?
I think horror chose me. I think like my mom was really always into scary stuff. Like she always had like all the Stephen King books, and as like a kid, I would see like the book covers, and they would like terrify me.
Hmm.
Like she never had. Neither of my parents had like a filter on what I should be watching when I was like little. Like my mom took me when Pet Sematary came out. It must have been like I think that came out in like '88 or '89, so I was like 4 or 5.
Right.
She took me to go see it. It's like this memory I have, and I was just like terrified. I think she had to take me out of the theater like after 20 minutes.
Wow.
Then like my grandfather lived with us growing up, and he would always show me, like I said, King Kong and Sinbad. I guess Sinbad's not really horror, but the first King Kong, if you think of that, watching that from a child's perspective, like that definitely has some scary scenes in it when Kong's like eating people, you know, in the black and white photography and everything.
Yeah.
I think just having being exposed to that so little made it just be a thing I love, you know, as I got older.
Who's your favorite? No, that makes sense. Who's your favorite horror like monster? Like Michael, Jason, you know, like or examples, I guess. But
okay, I can do some different. I'll put that. That's like too broad. So I'll say some different categories. Yeah,
absolutely.
My favorite like literary horror character is Frankenstein. From the Mary Shelley's novel. It's very. If you haven't read the book, he's very different in the book than in any movie because like he's very intelligent. And he's just like I think it's a really read the book every Halloween. It's one of my favorites. So he's definitely my favorite like literary monster. Classic movie monster. That's a really tough one because it's either Godzilla or Dracula, portrayed by Christopher Lee. Not that I mean, Bela Lugosi is great too. I just really love Hammer, and Christopher Lee was my favorite Dracula. And as you know,
I love
Mary. I'm a huge
Sally
fan. Yeah. So that would probably like, and then for like slashers, probably Freddy Krueger was my favorite of it. I know I worked with Kane Hodder, but I always liked Freddy a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I'm torn between Jason and Freddy myself. So that's fair, and I think
that's why Freddy versus Jason is a great film.
Oh God, it's so good. I mean, I can see maybe people not think it is great, but like, I think it's great.
Delivers on what it promises. So
exactly.
I've seen the movie. I love that movie.
Yeah. Dude. All right, and this is kind of the last question. You know, you worked on Heroes of Time with me. You're an assistant director, and pretty much was like my back, you know, on that movie because there was a lot of special effects in Heroes of Time. But is there any? Well, what stands out to you from Heroes of Time?
The pizzas. I mean, Heroes of Time. I'll get to the pizza in a second. All of your shoot sets are really fun. I think it's just because. For me, I don't want to say it's just this, but for me, it's because I've known you so long. I do like seeing you because you used to talk about making movies. You know, we both did in high school, and I think like seeing you like direct and everything. Because I think you're you're a really good director of actors.
Well, thank you.
I think you're way better than I am with actors. I think you do a really good job with actors. And you're good at the other parts of directing too.
Yeah. But like, obviously, special effects. I don't know anything. That was the first movie I did an actual special effect. You could argue Creep Dolls was that shot scene, I guess, but that was still practical. This was, So I honestly relied on you on that. Like, that's its own field. I feel like in directing. And that's why George Lucas is so good at that part.
There's definitely a lot of effects in that. No, I mean, Here's the Time, like Creepy Dolls and Here's the Time are both some of the most fun I've had on set for sure. I think Here's the Time, like maybe the fight scene. Also, there's a lot of moments. The fight scene when you were running through the fight scene and trying to explain to us what was going to happen. You were using like all video game terminology. You were playing both characters and you were like going back and forth. And then he does this, then fireball, fall, then back here, then there's a trap and like all this stuff, and he's like, "Whoa!"
I loved Tony's response to that. He's like, "I have no clue what you're talking about."
My favorite was Nick's. I think the first thing Nick said after he went through this whole spiel, it was like 10 minutes long. Nick was just like, "So, what's the first shot?" That was my favorite. The pizzas were funny because the flavors, like,
oh my god.
That was just to set the stage for that. Like it was lunch and it arrived late for whatever reason, so we were all starving. And I opened the first pizza, and it was like chicken and pineapple.
I think it was just pineapple, but
I was like, that's kind of a weird combination. And then I kept looking through, like the next pizza was chicken and pineapple, and the next one was chicken and pineapple, and then the one at the bottom was like olives and pineapple. It's the weirdest pizza.
And I was like, it wasn't obviously it wasn't supposed to be like that, but that was really funny communication.
That's a good. I mean, that was a fun set because I really liked working with Dylan.
Yes.
All your actors are some of my favorite people to work with. Like Dylan, Emma Green, and Andrew Puckett are all great.
Yeah. I remember on Creepy Dolls, we had a lead for Creepy Dolls, and that didn't work out. So you're like, let me call Andrew Puckett, and I was like, wait, what? Like I was like frightened because I knew how good he was. I was like just intimidated, and I was very honored to obviously work with him because he's a fantastic actor. But he's also just a great person.
DeJour's awesome too.
Oh, he nailed it. So we do have like just a very talented group of actors, and crew people too. Obviously, we can't like Nick and God.
That's most of the crew right there.
Well, I was thinking of Kevin. Sorry, Harper. But yeah. Anyways, awesome. Well, thank you for coming to my interview.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
To talk to animated Fox people.
My goal. I can't promise this, but next week I want to get Jay on this.
Okay, I'll tune in for that.
Yeah, I need to contact him, but I felt like he would be a blast. I know he would be a blast. It's Jay.
I'm gonna see him tomorrow. I'll mention it.
Yeah, definitely do that. It's like a Wednesday or something like that. But anyways, again, thank you for coming here, and you all have a good night. Oh wait, really fast. Does anybody have any questions that you want to ask Torey before we leave? I'll just wait for a moment, and then after that we'll leave.
How many people are watching?
2 people, or at least commenting. Chrome of the Sage and Queen Zelia.
Okay, well, thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for listening to me talk for an hour.
All right, well, it looks like that's it. Again, thank you all for coming, and we'll see you later, hopefully with Jay next week. Bye-bye.